Apple has completely lost their mind and have completely fallen out of touch with their consumers. Now, I'm not making this video because I want to make a rant video about an Apple product. I'm making this video because as a consumer, I'm actually really disappointed in Apple lately. Now, I know this is probably going to come as a surprise because I'm a tech reviewer. I should be buying all the products and talking about them, but this is one thing that as not only a consumer, but as a YouTuber, I won't fall victim to and be trapped by. Apple just held their latest press release yesterday and have showed off the new iPad models. Apple released a new 10th generation iPad, which is supposed to be phasing out the 9th generation iPad, but they did it at an increased cost. With that increased cost though, you do get a couple of things, but I'm gonna tell you why I don't think it's a good value and why I think it's a little short-sighted and stupid. Personally, I think these products were put in place to pad Apple's pockets and ramp up their Q4 earnings for this year. For $329, you were able to get the base model iPad, and at that price, it was honestly a really good value. The iPad is a pretty powerful product, and at $329, it made it super accessible for students, children, and pretty much anyone looking for basically a computer replacement. It does everything that you need it to do, from productivity to gaming, and at $329, I think the 9th generation iPad is a steal of a device. There are some things that you don't necessarily get when it comes to that device though, and that is a laminated display, a USB-C port, and an all-screen body. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, considering this model was meant to cut costs and make an affordable device for everyone to get their hands on. But they're kind of straying away from that strategy, and at $450, you can now buy the 10th generation iPad, which is basically a cut down iPad Air. In 2022, they're shipping a new iPad with the A14 Bionic. And while the A14 Bionic is still a pretty good chip, I think it's kind of ridiculous that they're so far behind from the other iPad models. Not only that, but the screen is also still not a laminated display, and while you do get the USB-C port, you only have access to the original Apple Pencil, the one that charges with Lightning. So if you want to charge your Apple Pencil on this device, you have to buy an additional $10 USB-C to Lightning adapter to be able to plug in your Apple Pencil. And I think the reason they ultimately did this is because there's a ton of Apple Pencils out there, and a lot of people who are buying these cheaper iPads probably already have the first generation unit, but I think it just makes it super ridiculous because they have all of the capabilities in place to be able to use and fully utilize the 2nd generation Pencil. But it seems like instead of trying to innovate, Apple is slowly and steadily working harder toward creating a problem that they have to solve and sell you a solution for. What makes the 10th generation iPad a little more confusing is now you're able to purchase a Smart Keyboard Folio for it. And what's funny is the Smart Keyboard Folio for this regular iPad is $250. But that's not all. This Smart Keyboard Folio has function keys, a larger trackpad, and a detachable keyboard, which essentially makes the 10th generation iPad keyboard much better than the one that's found on the iPad Pro. What? What the fuck? And since there's no 12.9-inch variant of the Smart Keyboard Folio, it's pretty inaccessible for those who actually need that extra functionality. You know, the people that are buying a pro-level device. But let's actually do a deep dive on that iPad Pro for a second. The new iPad Pro packs in the M2 chip and comes in 2 sizes. You get the 11-inch iPad Pro and the new 12.9-inch. And what's even more confusing about this lineup this year is that the M2 inside of an iPad can't even necessarily be fully utilized. The extra performance isn't going to do much considering the applications are still iPad apps. They did actually announce that DaVinci Resolve is going to be coming to the iPad, but what is even more confusing is that Apple has pro-level software. They have Final Cut Pro, they have Logic Pro, but they don't put it on the iPad. And I think that's a testament to show you that Apple doesn't even think the iPad Pro is a pro-level device. Why in the world is the iPad Pro not being shipped with Apple's Pro software? Again, what's funny about it is the iPad Pro aside from having new cameras, which do look pretty nice, it's segregated once again. The 11-inch doesn't have the mini LED display like the 12.9-inch, and you still don't get a keyboard with function row keys. And if you're anywhere outside of the United States, expect a price hike, because in Canada, the iPad Pro 12.9-inch with the M1 costs $1,350. That's pretty expensive, but for what you're getting, I can sort of understand it, especially if you utilize the Apple student discount. But now, in Canada, the iPad Pro 12.9-inch with M2 costs $1,500. $1,500 after tax is like 1,700 Canadian dollars. If you're somebody that's just looking for an iPad to take notes and watch some YouTube videos, I think the 9th generation iPad is still a great offer. Like I said, especially if you take advantage of that Apple student discount, you can get a pretty hefty chunk off of the device. And if you're looking at Apple's refurb site, you can actually find them for an even better deal. I think paying $450 for a cut down iPad is sort of ridiculous. Yes, you are getting a larger display and you are getting that new updated design, but you're not really taking advantage of it considering the features that make that design good. You know, for example, like the 2nd gen Apple Pencil, it's just not available. And to me, it's just kind of mind-boggling that in 2022, Apple has taken this weird, lenient approach to their product categories and it's just started cutting back features and selling them at a higher price. I'm sure these devices are gonna be good, no doubt. They always are, and that's the thing. The iPad is a really powerful device, but when you're buying a pro-level device, you would expect to have pro-level features. And Stage Manager, while Stage Manager is really nice and you have the external display support, it's still really confusing to me because it's not a desktop environment. It's still a really cut down version of even something like Dex. And I'm not here to advocate for a Samsung tablet or from a Huawei tablet, whatever it is. I think the iPad is still one of the best tablets that you can buy. But as of right now, with the price increase, I don't think it's necessarily justifiable. If you want to buy the 10th generation iPad, you're going to be looking at spending $956 if you opt for the 256 gigabyte variant, which I think is the only one that's worth it, considering 64 gigs is just not enough for most people. And you want to add the Magic Keyboard Folio and the Apple Pencil to truly take advantage of the device and use it for something like school or anything revolving productivity. At $956, you can get a pretty good laptop. Actually, you can get a MacBook Air for $956 if you find one on sale. You can get an M1 iPad Air, which is just overall a better device in every single category than this new 10th generation iPad if you're looking to spec it out. Don't ask me why, but this just makes no sense. Anyways, the reason I'm making this video is because I feel like it's pretty important to just be upfront and honest with you guys. You know, I'm not here trying to fulfill Apple in any way. I don't want a partnership with them because, in all honesty, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't want to be the kind of creator that gets these devices weeks in advance and has some time to talk about them, because at the end of the day, that kind of takes away a lot of the honesty from you. If I had spent $450 on this device, I probably wouldn't be too happy about it. And if I was given it for free, it would probably leave a different taste in my mouth. So that's why I think it's important to be honest with you, not just as a creator, but as a consumer. Anyways, let me know what you think about this new iPad launch in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot if you show me some support, you know, whether it's a like or a subscribe to the channel. Anyways, that's been it. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one, and peace out.